Tower of London.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, welcome on board the City Delta, the trip upstream. So we're heading towards Westminster and the London Eye. As we set off from the pier, first of all, we just have to give you all a safety announcement. This isn't to alarm you in any way, of course, it's just routine. Just have to let you know that the boat that you're travelling on today is fully equipped with all of the latest and up-to-date life-saving apparatus. And all of the crew aboard the boat today, we are fully trained. So in the highly unlikely event of an emergency,
The HMS Belfast.
well, good luck.
The Shard.
You are listening. Stay calm, stay in your seats, and await further instructions. Okay, you're in very safe and capable hands. You've got two licensed
Thank you
captains
po,
on board the
Tita.
boat today. You've got me, my name is Greg, and
Yes,
you currently
nice
have
views po.
Sean at the wheel.
The Tower of London at the background.
So that's the safety out of the way. Before we proceed on, so I'm not a tour guide by any means, but I've been working out here a long time, and I'm happy to share on some information with you, if that's what you prefer. Yeah? Very enthusiastic. No problem. I'm happy to do it, but I have to check, just to be sure. Did anyone want the pre-recorded commentary machine? Does anyone want the robot?
Tower of London.
Press it. Well, I did the live commentary, obviously. I'm happy to do it. We'll start on the left-hand side, shall we? The warship we're looking at.
Thank you po, Tita.
HMS Belfast. This was launched St. Patrick's Day, 1938. Saw action during the Second World War, and it was built in a pretty famous shipyard called the Harland and Wolff. So that's in Belfast,
HMS
Northern
Belfast.
Ireland. You might know that as the shipyard that built the famous Titanic. It didn't share the same fate as ship. Been moored in London since the 70s. The
Tower of
extension to the
London,
Imperial War. There's a floating museum, a permanent attraction of the regime. A few buildings on the right hand side, the one behind all of the trees there is Waterguard House. That used to be the customs building for London. And this was a working port. You go here to pay all of the tax and duties on the goods you brought in. Next to that, the cream building with the grey roof is the old Billingsgate fish market. So the market's it has moved now to larger premises, much newer ones in Canary Wharf. So the building on the right is now an event hall. So they have events there and parties, things like that throughout. Next door to Billingsgate, you have a large blue glass building. Looks a bit like that game, Tetris. This building, on the right hand side, is of no particular interest. It looks interesting though, doesn't it? It's just big. It's right. The Shard is on the left hand side, the tallest building in Western Europe at the moment.
The Shard.
1,018 feet.
Wow, 1,018 feet. This one, the Shard.
They have a viewing platform. The tallest viewing platform in London, the most expensive viewing platform. This one. can go to the top of the shaft, the 72nd floor. It will cost you £30 for that pleasure. The views at the top are roughly 40 miles. So they can't be beaten. And you can stay there. You can stay there as long as you please. There's no time restrictions. They have thought about that though. There's no toilets up there. So you have to come down here. We're going through London Bridge at the moment. Look left and right. Names engraved in stone.
The London Bridge. London Bridge
Not much
is
in the
falling
London
down,
Bridge. It's
falling
quite
down,
disappointing,
falling
if I'm completely honest. It's not this bridge, this
London
particular crossing that makes it so great. It's the fact that this is at least
Mommy,
the
ito
fifth
pala yung
one
London
to
Bridge,
cross
Ma.
this very part of the river in almost 2,000 years. So the first one was built by Romans, and was torn down by Vikings. The one after that was burnt down after that. It fell in a storm. The one before this one was sinking into the river. But that one, it does still stand today. It stands over in America. Does anyone know where? Anyone care? It stands over Lake Havasu, Arizona. American businessman bought the bridge and sent it out. Next bridge is Cannon Street Railway. It's not that
Cannon Street
interesting,
Railway.
but look at the support columns of the bridge either side as we pass through. At the water level, and you can see the water is flowing, it's rushing around the columns. And this gives us a good idea of the direction of flow and the strength of the current of the Thames. You can see it's coming out. So travelling in the direction behind us, the water level is dropping, or we know it's never time. And on the right, the containers, Walbrook Wharf. Inside the containers is London's rubbish. It's garbage, it's trash. It's how we get rid of it. We put it into containers, put them onto these barges. That's double stacked, that barge. And at high tide, very powerful tugboats collect these barges and then run it all the way down the Thames. They drop the rubbish, they drop it off at a place called Essex. Nothing against this. He's looking at Southern Road on the right hand side. The building has four pillars. The main wine merchants, wine subside, where all of the new wine, sherry and tours, or if you go on general sale, it's fine, tasty, inside of that. Backside is in the left. Got a white rounded building over there, the thatched roof has the timber frames. This is the replica of Shakespeare's Low Theatre. So throughout the summer, so every day now, this is the summer in London, so you know. We reenact all of Shakespeare's plays inside of that building in the traditional way. If you're interested in Shakespeare, it used to be very cheap. A standing ticket at the Globe last year was only £5. So starting price of £5 for a ticket at the Globe. But they put it up this year though, it's an extortionate amount. It's now £7. £7 for a live show in London. Still incredible value. The bridge,
Footbridge.
Look to the right, you see St. Paul's Cathedral. 300
St. Paul's Cathedral.
Every day. Look to the top of the dome at St. Paul's, you can see there's a walkway open to the public, a viewing gallery. And you can brave the stairs, something like 528 steps
Wow.
to get up there. You get lovely panoramic views over there. Bridges ahead of us are black friars. Follow these to the left, you've got one of our newer skyscrapers. The one that gets wider on the side, number 1 black friars, an apartment complex. The apartments went up for sale inside the building last year. To give you a rough idea, I was told the starting price was roughly £2 million. That's probably the basement. They're big enough building, the higher the cost in excess of around £12 million for the top. The bridges here are Blackfriars. The first one is the Blackfriars Railway. Some of you might recognise this bridge. It's in a film recently, just over a year ago now. Tom Cruise, who was running across the roof of this bridge, was filming for the latest Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible 64. Was it 65? I can't remember. It's been a lot of them. These red pillars are the signs we pass through. The first railway crossing the river, Alexandra Bridge. Then we have Blackfriars Road. These bridges, well, they're roughly halfway in the trip. So we're halfway to Westminster Pier now. Obviously, I hope everyone is enjoying the trip so far. Quite a nice day today. Hopefully, added to the day. Hopefully, you understand the vibe. I know not everyone in this boat has English as their first language. That's why I try to speak slow and clear. This isn't how I normally speak. There's nothing wrong with me. So you can understand. It seems to be well. Nice. You can see some construction on your right. Part of the engineering project. Probably heard of it. It's been all in the news and that. The Thames highway. Inside that copper dam, they're starting the process of extending London's sewer system. So the sewers that we're using at the moment were built in the Victorian era, so about 150 years ago, when the population was less than 2 million. There's over 8 million people living and working in London today. In our sewer, we can't cope with the amount of sewage that there is these days. So we have to build a larger one, plug that into the old to extend. So the tide has been dropping, as I said earlier, it's an ebb tide. So you're very lucky. You get to see on the left-hand side one of London's hidden gems. One of its best kept secrets on the left-hand side. People don't often realise this, but London has some of the finest looking beaches anywhere in the world. The Thames Riviera, lots of people enjoying the beach. You can see there's a man there on his own building sand castles. There's lots of families on the beach, children picking up bits of driftwood, broken pieces of glass. Dogs there, look, they'll have a little paddle in the polluted. Doesn't get much better. On your right hand side you'll see a white ship, the yellow funnel, HQS Wellington. This is an old New Zealand naval. Since it's been in London, it's been a very exclusive club. They call a livery hall to the company of Master Hall Carriers. The Queen's husband, Philip, is the head of this organisation. quite often see Phil and the Queen aboard the boat, stumbling around on the front deck there after a few too many. They like to reenact that famous scene from Titanic.
Oh.
But he didn't know he could draw either. We have a boat on the right hand side, sea canal. This bar used to be the Royal Bar. Today it's a floating bar and restaurant on the Thames. Okay, so you can see there's a few people on the lower deck there having a nice bit of dinner. You can hire out the top deck for parties as well. It's called the Yacht and Temple Pier. There's a party boats on the right hand side. The building behind them, behind the trees, the green dome on top is Somerset House. Built for the Dukes and Earls of Somerset. Once we pass the barge on the right, if you look at the building, look just past the roadway, and there's a little archway in the centre. And that used to be the river entrance into Somerset House. Before they built up the embankment wall, is to be able to row a boat right through that archway. This embankment wall was built up to encase London's sewer system. The one I mentioned before, built by Sir Joseph Bazalgette in the Victorian era. We're just passing through the longest bridge in London. Waterloo
Bridge.
Road. It was built by the natives
Longest
during the
bridge.
Second World War. About 80% of the labour
Wow, longest
This
bridge
bridge.
in London.
that way.
This is this
Not only is it
bridge.
the longest bridge in London, it is the only one on the Thames completed on time and under budget. Well done to them.
Yan longest bridge siya pa, mami.
So don't make this up, but it's pretty much right.
So longest bridge in London.
On your right, you'll see the Savoy Hotel, the white building with the flat green roof. Very nice hotel. Is anybody staying in the Savoy this evening? Man at the back there? Must be very rich. As an apartment, a river-facing room, or apartment in the Savoy, one of the apartments we're looking at, I said to set you back around £1,500 per night on average,
Wow.
making it one of the most expensive hotels. Royal Festival, so that's the left-hand side. But in 1951, the Festival of Great Britain. Lights of Shirley Bassey, Pavarotti, Frank Sinatra, Michael Jackson, Elton John. It's a few big names that perform inside there. And here we have Charing Cross Railway Bridge, the Jubilee Suspension Walkways. Right. The railway services, the train station on the right, embankment place. Home to Charing Cross and embankment trains. Through the bridge, look on the left-hand side, you'll see
It's the London Eye.
150 feet tall. There are 32 pods around the outside. There are 32 ovens that make up Greater London. Get on and off the wheel as it turns through the day. 30 minutes roughly for it to go all the way down. At the top of the wheel,
Once you get on it, it takes 30 minutes around.
see
Go around.
for about 25 miles. Wait to see London.
Leave all drunk people.
Yeah.
And the first is the Eiffel Tower. You can see, you have your cameras.
Teka, mami, natanggal siya, mami ko.
The pallets of scaffold.
Balik siya ulit. No, close.
Scaffolding.
You're cold?
It's a bit of a shame. It's more of a construction site at the moment. They said that this repairs, this work is much needed. It's being built on the banks of a river, so it's starting to show signs of we're going to captain his angle in the boat there, give you a nice picture on the right. Shame about the scaffolding tower. We call that tower Big Ben.
Oh, hindi naman yung Big Ben, oh. Yan yung Big Ben na ginagawa, under construction, mami ko. Gusto mo may picturean? Sa camera mo po? Yung Big Ben. Camera mo, mami ko. Yan. Ay ka, mami ko. Yan. Naka-live ka, ma. Yan, may ano. Yan, Big Ben. Pero magpakuha ka ng picture mo, ma.
Taking the batteries out the back.
Faster,
And they don't chime it anymore.
ha?
They don't chime it.
Hindi ko magalaw, naka-live ako.
So we won't hear the
Naka-live,
bell
mami, ako sa Facebook.
on a regular basis until 2021.
Gusto, mami, sa
We
yung
do hear it
cellphone.
on quite rare and
Cellphone
special
niyo po.
occasions, don't worry. We hear it for New Year's Eve, Remembrance Sunday, things like the Queen's birthday, my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah, only very rare and special ones. Well, on that note, we'll start to take you into our stop on the right-hand side, Westminster Pier. Just as we approach the pier, folks, I know most of you are anyway, but please remain seated for us, just in the interest of safety. I'm pretty sure most of you will be leaving at this stop for Westminster and the London Eye. If you are, make the most of this opportunity to gather your things. Don't ruin your day by leaving something behind, of course. Last of all, ladies and gentlemen, we'll just thank you really. Thanks for coming out on the river today. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you all for your very kind attention as well. Looking around the boat, I appreciate not everyone on board today has English as their first language, but all sat there very patiently and quietly throughout the cruise. You've given me your full attention. And that makes this a lot easier for me, so for that I really do thank you. Thank you very much.
The eye?
Thank you. Thank you. This isn't expected. Normally get a standing ovation, actually.
Ready, 1, 2.
I appreciate that, folks. You see, I'm not a tour guide. I mentioned at the start, but just the crew. I'm one of the captains on board today. My name's Greg. We like to do the live commentary. It's a bit of a tradition on the river. Hopefully it's a little bit better than the machine we have on board. Some of the other crews, the other boats, they just leave the machine on throughout the day and we get bad feedback. You see, we get a lot of bad feedback when we do the live commentaries. We don't receive any sort of training or payment for it though. We do them completely voluntary. We don't charge for the service either. That wouldn't be fair. Everyone on board has understood, probably a word I've waffled on about this whole trip. That wouldn't be fair. We do have a little custom on the river, an old tradition. We kind of leave it up to you.
Mommy,
And what we say, if you've enjoyed the commentary,
1, 2.
if you've understood, if you'd like to show
1, 2.
any appreciation, you will see me standing at the exit in the traditional manner, and I'll have hanging off the exit gate a little silver champagne ice bucket. Okay, that's just our little tip bucket, folks. If you'd like to throw something in, then please feel free to do so. If you was wondering what the contents of this bucket goes to, I may as well tell you. It doesn't go to waste, of course. It all goes towards intense research. And
Bye-bye,
we'll
Tita.
conduct the research